If your name contains S-O-N, Sun sounds like sun, which means God in Cantonese. Madison, Madeson, God of wiping floor. Jackson, Jerkson, God of birds. Jefferson, Jefferson, God of putting on pants. Nelson, Leoson, God of pee. Jason, Jerson, God of dick.
Good morning, sweet world! Don't mind that graphic! And welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, April 21st, 2023. Friday, April 21st. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, that's Chicken Wing Tasmellus.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to Tassie, it's the bearded one, Matap Shah Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo! And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, which doesn't include checking the calendar. Super producer JD.
Yeah, I made that yesterday. Sorry, guys.
That's all right, man. It happens from time to time. I like how it keeps us on our toes. It's been a weird week for me. It doesn't feel like a Friday. Doesn't feel like a drop.
We've also never developed a better system than just update it. Like, there's got to be a better way.
What do you mean?
AI could easily make that nowadays.
Ooh, that's smart.
That one's an easy one for AI, I think.
I would gladly hand that over to AI. Gladly.
But here's my question. Did you make all of the thumbnails, the title thumbnails,
At the same
for
time.
the week?
I did.
So you have a Friday, I assume. You just didn't load the proper one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on me. We need a robot doing this.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the stream team joining us here on Thursday/Friday. Live on YouTube. Like the vid, comment away, subscribe to No Dunks. Get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. We have some new No Dunks team-inspired shirts coming very soon. As the playoffs progress here, we're going to have some new merch over at nodunks.com. We'll keep you posted on that. Today is your last chance to lock in relentless playoff reporting from The Athletic, plus coverage for every other sport you love and care about, for just $1.99 a month for 12 months. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. That is a deal right there. Less than $2 a month for the entire year.
I think lock it in right now.
Yeah.
NFL draft is coming up. Mm-hmm. Bryce Young? How's he going to get it done, man? He's not a blazing fast runner. He doesn't have a cannon arm.
No.
It's all about the brain with Bryce. I learned that from The Athletic this morning.
Yeah, high IQ player.
High IQ player. People comparing him to Joe Montana. A bit rich, if you ask me.
Holy crap.
Joe Montana.
Check out yesterday's No Buffs podcast, our recap of episode 8 of Survivor 44. Lots of talk about puking and farting in this one. So if you're a fan of those things, those bodily functions, check out No Buffs. Its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed. And this weekend, in anticipation of Fast X, we are re-releasing the next installment from Fast Friends. On deck this weekend, Fast and Furious 7. Look at the cast all lined up there.
Oh, man.
This came out originally, this pod that we did, Fast Friends, for Fast and Furious 7, almost 2 years to the day. In fact, maybe that's why you had the date wrong, JD. You wanted it perfectly 2 years to the day. But yeah, that'll be coming out as we get closer and closer to Fast X. Fast and Furious 7 of Fast Friends, breaking down the hilarity of that movie, dropping at some point this weekend. Okay, on today's Drop Pod, we'll discuss the Raptors firing head coach Nick Nurse. That news just broke. Shout out to Masai. Shout out to Bobby Webster. And Shams and Woj for breaking the news.
Yes. And I assume Jerome, dropped the tip. The guys are going live at 10. If you can get the news out, please do.
Yeah, because we know that Masai was scheduled to have a press conference at 11.
Could have been anything.
It was like, ooh, we'll probably still be live when he starts talking to people. We'll find out what that's all about. But yeah, in the end, it's about Nick Nurse. Moving on. So we'll get into that later on the show.
Moving on. Who's fired?
No, that's not what the Raptors say. Not at all. Their wording, let me find it here.
Well, he was fired.
Relieved of his duties, Tess.
So he's not moving on. Anyway,
well,
we'll get to it
he's
later.
absolutely moving on. I don't think he's going to stay and live in Toronto. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. We'll also talk about the second weekend of the NBA playoffs. Obviously coming up. We'll get you all set for that with some questions, and we'll wrap up this classic with some rapid fire fun. But games last night, that's where we begin. And let's start with an insane game. Just a wild one in Brooklyn. Joel Embiid staying in the game and getting a late block as Maxey really took over and the 76ers held on and came back at the end to take the 3-0 lead on the Brooklyn Nets. But a lot of hijinks in this one, Tass.
Yeah, let's just quickly go to the end because Embiid got to be on the floor because he was not ejected earlier in the game. James Harden was out of the game. Nic Claxton was out of the game. And Tyrese Maxey was able to take over. Luckily, with Harden out, they had another guard just take over. 3 minutes left. They're down. He scores 7 straight points. And then Embiid, with about a minute left, tie game, calls for the ball after Maxey scored 7 straight. And you could tell Maxey didn't want to give him the ball. He thought, "I am hot, baby." But the boss called for the ball, so he gave it to him. Luckily, Embiid missed, and they're able to grab an offensive rebound, and there was a foul, and he got it back. Maxey did, and shot that beautiful step back 3. So he scored 10 straight to really end this game and seal it. And there's a lot of that we'll get into with the ejections and all that, but just for Philly to go up 3-0 in this series is huge for them because we've talked about Embiid, obviously, has not been able to stay healthy for a full playoff run. That's just the way it goes with Embiid. In this game, he looked like 2019 when Nick Nurse and the Raptors won. He was kind of limping through this game. They're doubling him, getting the ball out of his hands. He scored 14 points, did all he could, but for him to be able to rest and make this a quicker series is important because that's all he's talked about. I've never been able to go through the postseason healthy, and he's going to have a tougher task next series against the Boston Celtics and their front court. But Nic Claxton did an incredible job. I think let's get to the ejections. Nic Claxton's ejection was huge in this. I think if he stays in the game, they win. But he got ejected for his eyes being in the wrong place. I mean, he stared too much at Embiid, and he got ejected for that. So the other ones are definitely taking the headlines, but the longer this series goes on, the worse for Embiid because he does not look entirely healthy. And Nick off the floor playing his best game definitely changed it.
2.5 minutes into the first quarter, we'll start there with the Claxton Embiid incident. Claxton finishes a very nice lob from Dinwiddie. Embiid, this will be a shocker to you, falls to the ground. So Claxton steps over him, stares down on him. Embiid doesn't like it. And his response, this is 2.5 minutes into this game, is to throw a kick between Claxton's legs, which drops Nick immediately to the floor. And of course they look at it and people are thinking, well, okay, Draymond Green just got thrown from a game and then suspended a game for stomping on Sabonis. This is Embiid, who's, he's getting stepped over. Yes. So he's retaliating, and he kicks, no doubt, Claxton. But in the end, they say, well, no, you can stay in the game. It's not a flagrant 2, it's a flagrant 1. And Claxton hit with the first tech, which came into play because he got that second tech for staring at Embiid again later in the game and got tossed. But just a flagrant 1 on Embiid, and this had everybody going, what the hell? I mean, yeah, maybe he didn't hit the Dick Claxton. But, I mean, that's sort of what he was trying to do. And they just went with the flagrant 1, which was shocking, I think, to a lot of people watching the game and everybody on Twitter and all that. Yeah, and the Poole report after the game basically said, yeah, he missed a little bit, so he only got a flagrant 1. So that was shocking that Embiid, I mean, he right away kicks up at Claxton as soon as Claxton steps over him. So definitely a technical on Claxton. You see that all the time. The step over, that's a technical right away. But I thought Embiid should have been ejected, and I thought he was going to be ejected because he kicked so hard. He kicked right away. It looked like he made contact in the wrong spot. But I guess they got tracking software down there. I guess. They found him just a little to the right. So he survived to play in this game, and then we'll get into the other one. A make-up dick shot call is basically what it ended up being. So, yeah, I thought Embiid should have been gone. Weird that he wasn't. 2.5 minutes in, I think that played a big factor into it. And missing his mark, I think, played a factor. Yeah. I think you're right. And Nic Claxton also not being injured also played a factor. Like, it's not, to me, the comparison to the Draymond Green, there's two things. Draymond Green hit his mark, and Domantas Sabonis was hurt. So there's two different things. If Domantas Sabonis pops up and says, hey, Draymond, let's have a hug, all good, or whatever, and just moves on, then that whole thing is totally different. The other one is, it's funny, Sabonis is on the ground and gets kicked at and stomped on. And then in this one, it's Embiid on the ground kicking up. In combat sports, I believe you can do one and maybe not the other, right? Can I kick up at you?
You can kick from the
when
ground,
I'm on my back, but I cannot stomp on you. So there is that difference too. I think you're right though about the 2.5 minutes in. I'm like, if this is in the second half or later in this game, yeah, maybe it is. They feel like, all right, you're out of here. Do you think the Harden, and we can show that one too, where he obviously taps Royce O'Neal with the push off the chicken wing a little bit there? Do you think it was a makeup call from the refs in a way to get a flagrant 2 for this nut shot?
Well, if the justification for not tossing Embiid was he missed the testicles, then you got to toss Harden because it sure looks like he hit the testicles. I don't think he did, though. I think he missed the testicles. But in both scenarios, I wish, to me, if I'm the ref with 2.5 minutes into this game on Embiid, I don't toss him. And on that one, also, I don't toss him. I think a flagrant 1 goes both ways.
What do you think?
I'm the complete opposite. I think if you hit the nuts in any way, shape, or form, you're out of here. That's a sensitive spot.
Yeah.
Everybody playing as a man. They know what it's like. Everybody know what it feels like. So I think if you go after somebody's dick, you're a dick. Get out of here. So I thought Embiid should have been gone. And I thought Harden's was a bit of a makeup call because it doesn't look like he's pushing off very hard at all, but he had a more accurate strike, apparently. So I was fine with Harden being ejected just because that's kind of my general stance on this.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought Embiid should have as well.
Yeah, you can definitely think that Harden was just pissed off with what was happening on the floor. He was getting raked. The ball was stolen from him. Mikal Bridges doing a great job. And so he was just trying to get people off of him. I think that played into what he did. I just wonder if he
lost his cool. I mean, Claxton instigated that. There is no doubt. He did not need to step over him. But we see this, he got him. I got the lob on you. And that seemed to be their game plan going in. Fluster Embiid. Obviously send a bunch of bodies at him, get in his head a little bit. He might lose his cool. And he did. That's exactly what he did. But he's just lucky by what we're being told by the officials that he just did not hit Claxton in the nuts. It wasn't a direct shot. And that's what they're saying, right?
Yeah, it wasn't, right?
No,
I mean,
it wasn't.
looking at it, it's clear.
It just missed.
So, where is the line? I think if somebody does miss, I know it's the intention should play into everything, but it really doesn't. If I throw a punch at you and I get all beard, I mean,
you get ejected. You would 100% get ejected if you threw a punch, even if it missed.
Nah, if you air a punch, I don't think so. Anyway, this is. If you miss, I think that plays into it. Obviously, the time of game plays into it. Multiple factors. And the Harden, there's some makeup for sure. And Royce O'Neal, again, if he just stands up and pretends or just keeps playing, Harden doesn't get tossed either, right? I mean, it's sold. You got to sell it.
I saw people on Twitter obviously comparing the Embiid kicking up to Claxton again to what just happened with Draymond Green and Sabonis. I think even Chuck on the broadcast saying it was worse. And they're comparing the two instances. To me, it was actually the Embiid kick was in a weird way more similar to the classic Draymond Green Finals 2016 where he gets stepped over by LeBron James, and as LeBron is moving on, Draymond pissed off, feels like he's, being, his manhood is dropping levels here. He then does the old flick, right, at LeBron, and sort of gets him, low, sort of misses, whatever. Those were actually quite similar. Now, what's weird is that was a flagrant 1, that particular Draymond Green incident, but then got him suspended because it was the accumulation of all the flagrants and stuff like that. So in the end, it was the same call, the Embiid one and flagrant 1 to that Draymond Green one. If you think those are more similar than what just happened with Draymond and Sabonis. A lot of kicks and nut shots.
A lot of kicks and nut shots.
My God. Anything else about the game though? And the Sixers pulling this off.
I was debating, was this a takeover game for Tyrese Maxey? He scored the last 10 to win the game. But it didn't just feel like we're throwing the ball to Maxey, let him cook. It felt like it was in the flow of the offense to me, and also kind of weird. He didn't score from the 350 mark in the second quarter until those last 10 points that he scored for the Sixers to win the game. So shout out to him for coming through when the Sixers absolutely needed him to, because I'm with you, Tass. They want this series over in 4 games. As you can see, things are getting rough and tumble inside with Joel Embiid. Having him healthy and at 100% is of the utmost importance going into a much more serious series against the Celtics, it looks like, in the next round. So getting done in 4, I think, is huge for them because, like you're saying, last night he was on the ground 100 times. He was falling down all the time. A lot of times it's like, I got to fall so I don't have a bad landing. Makes sense. A lot of times he's drifting. That's Embiid style. Yeah. But, man, it just felt like he was on the ground a ton in this game. And also I thought P.J. Tucker had a really nice impact in the fourth quarter, specifically had 5 rebounds, 2 of them offensive, and they just felt like killers both times that P.J. Tucker's down there banging on the glass and making things happen for the Sixers. So I thought a couple of nice performances from Maxey and Tucker stepping up when Harden was out of the game.
Yeah, P.J. Tucker, you see those clips of, like, a Florida man or some guy in the bayou wrestling gators. That's what it looks like when PJ Tucker gets to rebounding on the offensive glass. He is just wrestling down there and ripping that ball away. And that was a big one. It was a tie game. The ball went to Embiid there, Tass, you said it. It was like a minute or so left. He sort of settled for a contested jumper because they were throwing some bodies at him. And it looked like Tucker was a little too far under the net to me. Dorian Finney-Smith, undersized or at least maybe underweight, battling, but had good position. I thought the ball was going to go to him, and Tucker just relentlessly was like, nope, I'm at least getting a hand on this thing. What happens? Ball squirts out along the baseline. I think it sort of gets tapped to Melton, and then Dorian Finney-Smith, in fighting with Tucker, falls into him, and they call the foul on that play. And then that led, obviously, to another Sixers chance, and that led to Maxey with the big three-pointer that he hit there, which was sort of the game-winning 3 in a way. So just Tucker is, you just see we joke about it all the time. Oh, another 0-point game for Tucker during the regular season. Oh, a bunch of nothing in that game. And then you get into these playoff series, like, holy crap. The guy just wins possessions and wins games. Honestly, he was a monster in there, especially on a night where Embiid was definitely flustered.
Totally.
Despite that big block. Yeah.
The dude wins games. And that's why Joel Embiid literally asked in the media for P.J. Tucker to sign with them. Mm-hmm. And Daryl Morey went and paid a good sum for a 3-year deal for an old player. But he won a championship a couple of years ago in that role with the Bucks. Was fighting with the Heat last year, and here he is. He won a game. Literally, the series could have gone on longer because he wasn't fighting that way. It's totally true.
So no way Embiid is suspended here for Game 4. No, okay. Everybody agrees with that. Should they just sit him down for Game 4? Don't even risk him getting more injured or doing something stupid? I'm half joking, but...
A little. I mean, it's maybe not the worst idea. But I think getting reps against a defense like the Nets is actually going to be good for Embiid and the Sixers. 5 turnovers last night. They are so aggressive, double teaming him. They've got a lot of long-armed guys that they can throw at Embiid to make it really tough on him. And they're going to see a better version of that in the next series against the Celtics. They got a lot of long-armed defenders, but they can also score offensively as well. So having Embiid figure out a defense that's kind of trying everything to take the ball out of his hands and to make anybody else beat them, I think will be good long-term for the Sixers. Also, just want to say the Embiid block on Spencer Dinwiddie, I don't think I've ever seen a block that was that close to being a goaltend, man. That was unbelievable. The timing he had on that one to actually get it and be completely legit.
I'm almost surprised the officials didn't immediately call goaltend so then you could go look at it in a game where they seem to be botching everything else. They actually got that one right. It was the right call. He somehow got there.
Yeah, super close.
At the last second.
Yeah, a stinky game that the refs became, for the first time to me, the real story throughout this postseason. It's a nice little run we had. But, yeah, there was so much chatter about that, and it took over even the final 2 games, I think, on the night because there was so much chatter. And I think Embiid in Game 4 will have an easier time because I'm going to doubt Nic Claxton is able to repeat that performance because he didn't do it in 2 games. It didn't seem like Embiid had a match on the other side at all. I mean, they're sitting Claxton to play wings. And Claxton had an awesome game in this one when he was playing. The energy was ridiculous. He was plus 13 in his minutes. And he was almost unplayable at times in the first 2 games. So that's... it's a double-edged sword. It was nice to see Nic Claxton do that because the Nets almost won. And if he doesn't do the little taunt, which was just eyes, and then he actually signaled for the tee himself because he knew that what he did was worth a tee in that second instance, and he's like, all right, I'm gone. If he's on the floor, I think they win. So we'll see if he can repeat that.
My only other notes from this one, it was nice that Brooklyn gave us a game here because it looked like it was getting away, but Bridges just took over in that third quarter run where I think they ripped off a 14-0 run. He hit a tough corner three where he turned around and barked at the Sixers bench, but nothing was called.
He's a big trash talker.
Yeah, I love that one. He had a putback dunk. He had a runner after he blew by Harden, and then Bridges finished with a fast break slam there. Following a Sixers turnover, and that got the Nets like back in the lead, and it was like, all right, at least we've got a game here. Unfortunately they lose, and it does feel like this series is either a sweep or maybe a gentleman's sweep, where you take the first three, you give them game 4, and take care of business at home. But at least it got exciting there because this could have been a yawn.
Absolutely right. This feels like the one that the Nets could have stolen, so not good heading into game 4, but anything could happen. Bridges should have taken that shot instead of Dinwiddie. Like, Bridges was cooking, like you were saying, but sometimes it's just Spencer time.
Yeah.
That was Spencer time.
And then they couldn't even get a shot at the last play where Royce O'Neal, Bridges, they just had a miscommunication, I guess. Bridges said I should have just went and got the ball. Instead, Royce throws it to, was it Melton?
Melton, yeah.
Who goes the other
breaker.
way, scores, and people that had the Sixers by 4.5 got the cover.
Respect.
Yeah, so
Respect.
That was a tough loss if you had Nets plus 4.5 in that one. Only other note, I forget when it happened. It was in the second half. There was that crazy back and forth, and there was like big plays being made, and there were sort of turnovers, and Harlan was going nuts on the call. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Incredible Harlan stuff. Like when he just keeps going and his voice starts ramping up more and more, and it's just pandemonium. But then Reggie completely blows it and shits all over it after this minute call by Harlan, which is just epic. Reggie has to throw in a welcome to the NBA playoffs. It's like, Reg, come on. It's like, just leave it. You don't have to say it. It was so good. That was my other random note.
That's a fair note. Hey, man, Reggie is doing all of his commercials. The guy's got a ton of commercials right now. He likes basketball. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
the guy's enthusiastic about liking basketball. So much so that sometimes you just want to throw in one more comment.
I know.
Welcome to NBA playoffs.
That was a crazy back and forth affair. Anything else? Or should we move on? Okay, let's go to the next game. Devin Booker, 45 points. This guy's cooking right now as the Suns top the Kawhi-less Clippers 129-124. The Clippers rule Kawhi Leonard out of Game 3 in a series that's 1-1 due to a right knee sprain a couple hours before this game. I guess it was in the afternoon. And it caught a lot of people by surprise. This guy looked like he was maybe the MVP of the postseason so far in Games 1 and 2. But we're told he banged up his knee in Game 1, played hurt in Game 2, and they elect here to rest him in Game 3, which they ultimately go on to lose, even though Norman Powell and Westbrook did all they could to keep him in this game. How shocked were you by this? And where do we go moving forward in this series with Kawhi?
Okay, here's how shocked I was. Not only did this happen yesterday was also the day that Twitter finally took away blue check marks. So the tweet came in like very soon after people were figuring out all the journalists aren't verified anymore.
Right.
Is this real? Kawhi Leonard is sitting for Game 3 in the playoffs? He's been the best player in the playoffs, playing the most minutes he has all season, and suddenly he's not out there for the first home game for the Clippers? That was honestly a shock because, there was definitely a 3-minute stretch in Game 2 when he looked like clearly the best guy on the court. He was stealing the ball from Kevin Durant at the top of the key. He was dishing to the corner, didn't get the shot he wanted, gets it back, drives to the hoop, says, no, shoot the ball from the corner. Finally got a 3 for Terrence Mann. He looked incredible, and then to not show up for Game 3, that was just honestly a shocker that you didn't think it was actually real considering how well Kawhi has been playing so far. So it was real, though. He really didn't play. And it's such a bummer because you see how well the Clippers played last night. You saw how they won Game 1. You imagine this team with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? This series would be awesome. Yeah. This would be like the perfect series, watching those two go up against the Suns, couple of stars, and their additional all-stars as well. But, man, very weird. Very, very weird stuff. It's like, is he getting load managed in the playoffs? They got an early game on this weekend.
Yeah, on Saturday.
Yeah, they got an early game Saturday. They play at 3:30. I'm not really joking.
You think they sat him in Game 3 just to win Game 4? I mean, it's not surprising. It's obviously
There's
shocking.
only one guy you would even consider that for.
No way. No
Only
way.
one guy who you would even
they're sitting
question
him.
it.
Looking back to the 2019 finals run, he played hurt, so it's not surprising that he got injured in game one after reading those reports, and played in game two and was dragging his team up and down the floor. But shocking, that he's not playing, because he looked like literally the best player in basketball through the first two games. It sucks. And you bring up a good point about seeing who is real on Twitter, because in real scenarios, it's going to be a problem. So that's no joke with the verification process. Yeah, very, very odd. Very, very odd. It sucks. It just plain old sucks. I imagine he comes back for game 4, I guess. Who the hell knows?
Devin Booker was awesome in this game, though. 45, like I said. 18 for 29 shooting. That's 62%. 6 boards, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Set the tone early. I love when Booker does this in any Suns game where he comes out in the first quarter. You're like, oh, it's going to be one of those nights. He had 13 points in the first quarter. Just a masterclass in scoring. Did you see that 3 he hit? I think it was in the third quarter.
In the corner?
Yeah, where there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And he gets it sort of on the side.
It.
I think Westbrook is assuming, like most people, he's going to maybe dribble to the middle, maybe try and attack the rim, and instead like almost circles the other way to the corner, gets his feet behind, rises up, and hits that 3. It was, holy shit, what do you do with that? That is an absurd 3. And he can hit those shots. And every guy the Clippers threw at him, every guy the Clippers put on him, it did not matter. He scored on basically every guy they put on a half-court defense on him, just blew by them. And then he was getting buckets in transition, too, and that's how you get to 45 points.
Yeah, and you think automatically Kawhi is going to be missed on the offensive end, but he really was missed on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. Him and Paul George, just because they want to go small, because they want to go micro, and they did, and it was successful. They need bigger, stronger defensive wings, and there ain't no stronger than Kawhi Leonard. So they really missed him. They still put up 124 points. Incredible how deep they are, and that they just keep throwing out guys. Bones Highland chipping in, Norm Powell having a 6th man of the year snub game to score 40 frickin' points after Malcolm Brogdon got the award earlier in the night.
It was a 3-point game with 144 to go, and then Torrey Craig hit a huge 3.
Ty Lue's the man.
Big time 3. Weird defense from Bones Highland on that one.
Yeah, it was.
Weird stuff from Bones. Asking for a call out in a play or a clear out in a playoff game. Just get the hell out of the way. Like, he's still Bones Highland. But he scored a lot of weird stuff in this game. Devin Booker played defense with a shoe.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen that highlight, and I don't think you'll ever see it again. Devin Booker was playing defense without a shoe, and Morris hit a banked-in corner from the 3. Like, I can specifically remember one time in my life banking in a corner 3.
Where you did.
Yeah, I can vividly remember it happening. It's so rare. So it happens occasionally in the NBA, but it never happens while the guy playing defense has a shoe in his hand.
No.
That's one of the most rare moments you'll ever see.
And he had his hands up, too. There was a slim chance he could have blocked it. With the shoe. Oh, yeah. And then he banked it home, yeah.
I love this quote from Suns coach Monty Williams. He was sort of joking after the game. Quote, I almost feel bad for Kevin Durant sometimes because he's like an expensive decoy out there. He's standing at the 28-foot hash and the defender is right in his face, and that gives Book a number of opportunities to attack the basket. And you saw that a lot in this game. It's like they're obviously doing anything they can to prevent the ball from getting to KD. Russ is playing actually incredibly well right now. This is wild, his resurgence here. But, Durant's just so far removed from the play, and they stick a guy on him. And that just opens up even more room for a guy like Devin Booker, who just was living at the lane. I mean, you just go attacking. And that's how he got to 45, like I said. He has 109 points through the first 3 games of the series.
He's another guy who has a case for best player of the playoffs so far. And he's been in the top 10 every single stretch of time he's been able to stay on the court this season. Early in the season, MVP candidate, went down with the injury, came back, looked great. Obviously, the pairing with Kevin Durant is great because Kevin Durant scored 28 points on 15 shots. It felt like a quiet game for him. Mm-hmm. Went to the line 11 times. I guess that's something the Suns have been talking about for the last month of the season. We never take free throws. They took 46 last night, probably because they realized the Clippers are playing a tiny team. We need to go to the hole. It worked.
Are you concerned at all about the Suns' heavy minutes that their guys are playing here in this first-round series, early in the series, where KD is playing, basically over 40 minutes a game? Booker, the same thing. Even Chris Paul last night playing over 40 minutes. Like, they are keeping a pretty short rotation because they don't have a depth. They don't have a lot of depth on this team. Is that going to come back to bite them in the ass, or do what you got to do to advance?
I don't think so at all. I'm not worried about it. I know Twitter is, but they do get rest. They are guys that have gone deep in the playoffs. Just 2 years ago, they know what it takes. And Kevin Durant's been there, obviously, plenty himself. I think Cameron Payne coming back will lessen the load on the oldies, especially like Chris Paul,
yeah.
Primarily.
Because he had a bad game last night, I thought, Chris.
He did, yeah.
I mean, you can't. They're just saying, go ahead. We don't really trust that you can shoot all that well
They're
from
leaving
outside.
him, yeah.
Yeah, he's had two of three poor games. One good game. But they're starting to find their flow. Like, Devin Booker was quiet in game one, and quiet for him is 26 points. But he's come on. They're finding their flow as well. I mean, Chris Paul can just go practice corner 3-point shots in between game 3 and 4.
No, he's got
that's pretty cool.
He's got State Farm commercials. He's got more to shoot.
Still filming.
Just some big old shorts. I agree. They need campaign back, though, because the only one I would really be worried about with minutes is Chris Paul. Like, he shouldn't be playing 40 minutes a night, but there's no backup point guard right now.
Yeah.
So he's kind of got to.
The other game last night, Curry scores 36. Warriors beat the Kings 114-97 without Draymond Green. Dominant wire-to-wire victory here from Golden State. What were your big takeaways from this one, in addition to Steph Curry just, reminding us always, don't worry, I got you for 30+. I'll hit a bunch of threes.
Well, Kevon Looney was obviously a monster on the boards. Them being shorthanded without Draymond Green, I just thought Domantas Sabonis should be a little bit more assertive in the first half, and he just wasn't. He came on in the second half, and the numbers are there, but they didn't do enough. Same sort of with Harrison Barnes. Those guys, you can accept it from the younger guys, but I thought those two guys were just a little passive, and then the Warriors absolutely found their flow and were able to do whatever they wanted. And yeah, they feel good. And I guess we're dumb in not including Jordan Poole as a potential starter, considering Draymond Green's going out. We're thinking bigs, of course, but Poole comes in as a guy who started all season long and didn't have a great game. But I think what's a bad sign for the Kings is that the more reps he gets, he will get better as the series goes on. He's still a great basketball player, and just like he did with the Celtics, where it looked like he had nowhere to go in that series, he came back and started to play better. So, yeah, of course, you expect the Warriors to win a game, but I just thought the Kings were just a little, other than Fox in that first half, who was foxy, just a little too passive, I thought.
This was the first time to me that the Kings looked like they were playing in their first playoffs.
Yeah.
They looked completely inexperienced, a little shy from the spotlight, I thought, and I think that really plays out with guys like Keegan Murray not having a good game. Kevin Huerter has had a stinker so far for the Kings in the playoffs. This was a missed opportunity for them, big time, though. Playing against a Warriors team without Draymond, and they found out right before the game that Gary Payton II wouldn't be playing as well. That's two huge defensive pieces for the Warriors. But yeah, we should have known. Anytime there's a problem with the Warriors, the solution ain't ever going to be going big. It's going to be going small. And you're right, Poole did not have a great game, but having Poole, Clay, and Curry out there together, that's three guys you got to respect from the three-point line, so a lot more space inside. But the biggest change is that Steph Curry decided, I'm just going to win this game. He was taking deep threes. He was forcing the issue around double teams rather than just getting off the ball. With the spread court, more pick and roll, that's fewer turnovers for the Warriors, which is their biggest problem. And then, of course, Looney was insane. 420 beef on 420. Come on, man. Incredible stuff. I knew this game was over. First possession of the second half, because you think Looney's killing him on the glass. Halftime, Mike Brown's got to be saying, we cannot keep getting beat on the glass like this. Looney got an offensive rebound on the very first possession of the first half. You're like, well, Kings just don't have it tonight. They ain't going to be able to overcome a Warriors team playing with a lot of heart, and now Game 4 is, incredible. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, if it's, dare I say, it starts to feel like whoever wins that Game 4 potentially wins the series, but there's a lot to be still determined in this one. Looney just picked up Draymond Green's slack. He played like Draymond Green because, not only the 20 rebounds, 9 on the offensive glass, he had 9 assists too. A lot of those splashing out to three-point shooters, a lot of them coming off an offensive rebound, kicking out. That makes sense. But listen to this stat from Brad Botkin of CBS Sports. That combination of rebounding and passing in a playoff game, he was the 4th player in history to record at least 9 offensive boards and 9 dimes in a playoff game. You want to try and guess the other 3, and I'll tell you they're all MVP players.
9
offensive rebounds and 9 dimes in a playoff game. All 3 MVPs.
Shaq?
No, it's a good guess. Probably the assists would be difficult. I assume.
Yeah.
Garnett?
No.
Is that crazy?
No. We got 1 current player.
LeBron?
No.
I mean, yeah, I would.
Tim Duncan?
No.
That'd be a wild one.
That's a good guess, I think, but
9 off, 1 current.
Giannis?
no.
Jokic?
Okay, yeah,
Has
he
a
passes
playoff
and
game where he
rebounds.
did
That
that.
makes sense.
The other guy you saw on television last night.
No.
Not Reggie.
Not Reggie. An MVP saw
I
him
mentioned
on the
him
television.
already.
The Shaquille, the Charles.
The Charles Barkley did it.
We saw him last night.
And one guy, I believe, was getting off some fire tweets.
Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson. Magic, Charles Barkley, Jokic, and now Looney. 9 offensive boards and 9 dimes in a playoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Just an incredible game from him. And I thought the Warriors bench, after Poole gets slotted into the starting lineup, they had been brutal through the first 2 games of the series. They didn't kill it last night, 25 points combined, but Moody gave him some good minutes. He had 13 points, and then some contributions here and there from like Kuminga, Green, even I guess Lamb was in there a little bit, and those guys barely played at all in this postseason. So they got a little bit from everybody, and they did all the things you want to do, right? They only had 11 turnovers, and they cleaned it up even as the game went on. They outscored the Kings in the paint, and they doubled up on second chance points, 24-12. So.
That was a dud. It was a bit of a dud
the game
from
was
the Kings.
The game was not that great because they just sort of dominated the whole thing.
Yeah, and
The Warriors.
I guess it was the Kings' first road game in the playoffs, and that's their excuse, or I think that seems to be the reason.
Yeah.
They just
The Warriors are
wilted a bit.
dominant at home.
Yeah. The Warriors are good. Their backs were against the wall. They needed that game 100%. And it was like an MVP. I'm one of the greats of all time. Performances by Steph Curry. So, yeah, you lose to that, but also 23% from 3, 15 turnovers. That's youth. That's youth, baby.
Yeah. They're going to need Herter and Murray to have some,
They gotta hit some
have some
shots.
games, or
Yeah.
Monk on the road, have games where they can hit some
Well, Murray's
shots.
been bad
Absolutely.
the whole series, which
Yes.
is fine.
So is Herter.
Yeah, Herter
It's like
has.
3 for
Herter,
20 or something.
yeah, Herter plays a lot more. So those Herter
Those
a
Herter
little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, so game 4, obviously, this weekend, which should be incredible, that game 4. Draymond, in theory, back, and I would assume back in the starting lineup, and unless Steve Kerr's a crazy man. You imagine? Looney played really, really well. Maybe they like the Poole, that speed. I don't know. I doubt it. Draymond will be in there. Okay, we got to take a break. When we come back, though, we got to get into the Raptors firing head coach Nick Nurse. No doubt.
That's right.
Brogdon winning 6th man of the year, and we'll look ahead to the second weekend of the NBA playoffs. Don't go anywhere.
Cha-ching! Cha-ching!
Yeah, there it is. You got it.
That's the one. You know that sound. That's the sound of another sale on Shopify. And the moment another business dream becomes a reality. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're selling podcast t-shirts or podcast sweatshirts, Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can focus on successfully growing your business. Shopify covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across social media marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't even think I knew that TikTok had a marketplace. Surprising to me.
Right.
Packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn any new skills in design or code. And thanks to 24/7 help and an extensive business course library, Shopify is there to support your success every step of the way. No matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you with the confidence and control to revolutionize your business and take it to the next level. Now it's your turn to get serious about selling and try Shopify today. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/nodunks, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/nodunks. Make sure to keep it lowercase, and you can take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/nodunks.
All right, a little bit of news here on a Friday. The Raptors have fired Nick Nurse earlier today, ending their relationship with the coach who led them to their lone NBA championship. He amassed a 227-163 record in 5 seasons with the Raptors, and obviously won the title in 18-19, his first season at the helm, but they went 41-41 this year, and Masai Ujiri, the team's president and vice chairman, said the dismissal is, quote, an opportunity for us to reset, to refocus, to put into place the personnel and the players who will help us reach the goal of winning our next championship, end quote. Probably not surprised by this news, Task, because we had been talking about this sort of since the All-Star break when we were starting to hear some whispers that maybe Nurse would be moving on at the end of the season. But what do you think?
Huge news, and I don't mean the Nick Nurse news. I mean Charania's new avatar. Did you see that?
Oh,
Style
with that leather jacket?
Yeah, I could see Nick Nurse trying to pull that off.
We were joking that maybe we should put in some like fawns like thumbs into that. Shams. Hey.
Yeah, let's make a video for him.
Hey, breaking news. But anyway.
Maybe we'll go with that. Yeah, maybe I'll go with that. You think he'll run with it? That's
good.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe. We can talk to Michelle Beadle, his colleague. She'll get into it. Those whispers, I guess, came true. That there was something going on in the locker room where there just wasn't a lot of happiness and chemistry. And I thought it was primarily from the players. And maybe it partly was, but it's 5 years at the helm. And I guess that's how she rolls. I don't think anybody else could have done a better job this year. You know, you can always pinpoint, but I just think it's the group. I think there will be more changes. I don't think this is it. But it was a great run. It was a very, 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 very great run for Nick Nurse.
Definitely feels like a new era for the Raptors is going to be starting this summer.
Yeah.
There are player question marks. There is now a coach question mark. Somebody's going to hire Bobby Webster at some point. Like somebody's going to drop the bag on that guy and say, come be the number one guy. So maybe that changes as well. But yeah, the writing has been on the wall. So much so that Nick Nurse was kind of campaigning for jobs at the end of his tenure with the Raptors. So it seems like he will be falling on his feet pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's always sad when your team relieves the greatest coach in franchise history of their duties.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that Kareen and Shams, reporting what went wrong. They're pointing to two things, really. One, that Nurse and the front office did not see eye to eye on player usage this year, especially when it came to some of the younger, less proven players. That is Nurse's thing, where he leans heavily on his starters, his stars, leans into big minutes for those guys, where maybe he should have been developing the bench more. But then the counter to that is, what bench? These guys are not very good that you put on this roster. So who's right there? And that's where you could see some, something where they're not perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
There's that.
I don't know who that is.
Well,
I suppose it could be Precious Achua, but he tried. Mm-hmm. Who else would it be? They started Christian Coloco. Plenty.
They did start him for a little bit there.
I don't know who it is. So I'm not sure on that one.
The other thing is, and Gary Trent Jr. even addressed this after the season, is the idea of Nick Nurse and his criticism being shared with the press and the media before it would maybe be shared with players, and that could have frayed some relationships.
He called out guys a lot.
And that is a thing that Nick Nurse does. And I think it's fine when you're winning 50, 60 games, making noise in the playoffs, obviously winning the chip the one year. That becomes more irritating the longer you've been around someone, sure. And then when you're floundering a little bit and you're a 500 team and you're not playing up to expectations, then you're like, okay, man, what the hell? So I think these guys are plugged in. I mean, Eric Kareen knows his team better than anyone, and then Shams is the guy. So I believe all this. And to even then circle back to this whole idea, and I think Nurse has talked about it, just the idea of like a guy being the voice in a locker room for a long time. People start to just get tired of working with each other. Not us. But some people do. And this idea of like just fresh starts and need a new voice and to like just sort of refocus, to use Masai's words, and maybe it's Udoka, maybe it's another coach, it's someone there. There's talent on this team, and they're a 500 team, but that was still disappointing, for sure.
They had a disappointing year.
Yeah.
This year was a disappointing year. They have not had a disappointing year in a while, though. It was a really good run.
They won like 27 games 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm. To get started.
Oh, yeah, when things weren't...
Classic Tampa.
Yeah, it was a disappointing season, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's injuries and stuff in that one. I mean, that one sort of makes sense. Yeah. There was some friction, that's for sure. That's it. I mean, it was a good run.
Van Vliet, Gary Trent Jr., Pirtle, they can all be free agents this summer. And Siakam is up for an extension. We'll find out whether it's Supermax if he makes All-NBA, which I think he'll be very close. He'll be on the fringes of maybe cracking one of those teams. But we'll see. Those will be decisions for Masai, in theory, and Bobby Webster to make. By the way, some of you might care. Some of you definitely won't. But Blake Murphy did find out that Nurse is still locked in and committed to the Canadian national program. He's the men's head coach for their Olympic team. He has a deal through 2024 of the Olympics. Great relationships in the organization, and a lot with his resume and his legacy to bring Canada basketball or to get Canada basketball really on the level a lot of people think it should be with all these NBA players. So I guess Nurse is going to still be there, through FIBA and all this stuff into the 2024 Olympics, which is good news. Because the whole thing there is this idea of get guys committed, and that includes your coaching staff, to then try and make some noise in the international game.
As long as he doesn't call out his players for not playing well. Right. Seemed to be the death knell that the guys who he won with seemingly had a problem with. Him specifically. That has to be it, really.
Yeah, they're probably like, man, we're playing 1 million minutes every single year, and you're calling us out? I would be offended after years of it.
Will Nick Nurse be coaching the Rockets? We'll wait to find out about that.
They can't afford him.
And
Tillman, you going to pay up?
And who will be coaching the Toronto Raptors? Like I said, Udoka's name at the top of a lot of people's list. Jerry Stackhouse is a name that always gets thrown around with his ties to the organization.
He played with the Raptors?
No, 905.
G League 905.
Right.
Sort
yeah,
of.
nice.
He was a Raptor at heart. He won the 905 championship.
Patrick Mutombo, too, is always a name that's a potential new voice, new head coach at the NBA level. So we'll see. Other piece of news here. Celtics guard Malcolm Brogdon named the winner of the NBA Sixth Man of the Year on Thursday. He edged out Knicks guard Emmanuel Quickley for the award. Brogdon got 60 of the 100 first-place votes, 408 total points. It was pretty close. Quickley finished with 34 first-place votes and 326 total points. So very likely be one of the closer races when it comes to all these awards. Bobby Portis coming in third for the Sixth Man of the Year. He got 6 first-place votes and 97 total points. Big Braga Dogga. Obviously, an addition was acquired by the Celtics in the summer to help their chances to try and get back to the finals and made a difference coming off the bench in every game and winning this award that people were torn between either Brogdon or Quickley.
We should have seen it coming. When the announcement was Thursday night. TNT doing their broadcast from Atlanta, Boston, coming to Atlanta, and then he was here in person.
Yeah.
God, I'm so disappointed in myself. Should have came up with that one.
Not shocked at all?
I mean, not shocked at all, but it definitely felt like Quickley had closed the gap a little bit during the last couple of months of the season, but apparently the fact that Brogdon is a pure bench player certainly factored into this. 0 starts for Brogdon. I think 24 starts for Emmanuel Quickley, but big congratulations to Malcolm Brogdon on making the Hall of Fame. Every other Celtic who's won Sixth Man of the Year, they're in the Hall of Fame.
Jesus.
You know who it is?
Bill Walton.
Billy Walton.
Havlicek.
Havlicek never won it.
Oh.
McHale.
It came after
It's
him.
named after him.
It's named after him. And McHale is the other one. So put him on the Mount Rushmore of Sixth Men of the Year.
Well, how about
Havlicek,
this?
McHale, Walton, and Brogdon.
Brogdon, just the second player to win both Sixth Man and Rookie of the Year. Can you name the other one?
James Harden.
No.
How many?
Sixth Man and Rook.
Just one other guy?
Yeah.
Mike Miller.
There you go.
Nice,
go.
nice.
So they've now announced Sixth Man, Coach, Clutch, and DPOY. That leaves us with the big one, MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Most Improved. Though Larry Markkinen is finishing his military duties in Finland, if he is the one that's going to win this. I did see Timmy Bontemps, though, said the league expects to announce the other awards, next week. So it won't be coming on the playoffs, if we can believe Tim Bontemps, who I believe actually spoiled all these award winners. Did you guys see my Saturday podcast where I had my crazy theory?
You had your theory?
Yeah, because he had a post.
Your Bontemps
And then
post.
just the way they were put in order, they weren't alphabetically for each of the finalists. It was about the finalists. And so far, check. Now, some of them obvious, sure, and Mike Brown and stuff like that. But if we are still going with the Bontemps...
The Bontemps
ruined
leak?
everything. Yeah, the Bontemps leak. Jokic will be winning. That would be the huge shocker. because he had Jokic first in his little list.
Interesting.
And then the other one, I believe, was off the top of my head, Lauri Markkanen, and what's the other one left? What did I say?
Most improved? Oh,
That
no,
would be
sorry.
Markkanen,
Rookie and
MVP,
Paolo,
rookie Paolo,
obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we'll see.
He's alphabetical. Mike Brown wasn't alphabetical? He wasn't the first?
Well, yeah, but some of them were. Some of them were
okay.
not.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
even it's holding true my weird theory right now.
I like this.
But this MVP one will be the big
We're
one.
on to you, Tim.
Gotcha, Tim. All right. Let's look ahead to
that'd be
the
a shock,
NBA weekend. Okay, 11 games on. Because 3 tonight, 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. Tonight, Celtics, Hawks, Cavs, Knicks, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and then everybody playing another game there on the weekend. So I got some questions for you guys. TK, you got to start. What's the biggest burning question heading into the second weekend of the NBA playoffs?
How many points is LeBron James going to score on Saturday night? This guy got called old. Dylan Brooks said, I don't respect anybody until they give me 40. Just asking for somebody to score 40 points against them. And honestly, LeBron, I was shocked to see that he's the leading scorer for the Lakers in this series so far. It doesn't feel like he's been very aggressive, put his stamp on this series yet. He's taken 16 threes and only 8 free throws. Not really attacking the hoop. When Dylan Brooks said, we'll see if he wants to make it a one-on-one game or just stand on the sideline and shoot threes, he was kind of right. Only 23 two-point attempts for LeBron thus far, but he got called out. This is the first real Lakers home game since 2013. Like, they didn't have full fans for 2021. They were in the bubble for 2020, and prior to that, they weren't making the playoffs at the end of Kobe's career. So 10 years without a playoff game at home, and now you got a LeBron James who is waiting to put his mark on this series, just got called out by one of his greatest needlers going in the league right now. That's a question for me, alongside will Ja Morant play? Is he going to come back? He was sitting out with pain tolerance for his hand. Every clip you saw of him was just shooting left-handed. Obviously didn't play game 2, so he will return sometime. Had a little bit more time off here for his hand to heal, so let's see if he's on the court.
Yeah, the LeBron factor is obviously, it's huge. It's going to be hilarious. How he starts the game, I think, won't dictate how he ends the game. I think he's going to take it slow and not try and cram it on Dylan Brooks. But as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr. leaves the floor, he's got an opportunity to do some cramming. Yeah, Dylan Brooks is right to some degree. He's shooting a lot from the perimeter, 8 threes a game. It's the same sort of thing he did in their short playoff run in 2021, 8 threes a game. He's a different guy, there's no doubt, but he's shooting nearly 70% from 2, actually leading the playoffs in 2-point percentage. A cool stat, bro. He'll take it easy, and then when he sees the opportunity, we'll see if he takes it. Yeah, the Ja Morant thing is huge. Will he play? And how will he play? And I guess he's got a bit of an example when he first got into the playoffs. 2021 was his first playoff run. He was playing against the Grizz Jazz. They were the lower seed the Grizzlies were, and Donovan Mitchell was out the first game and then came back and ran the table. So hopefully he can say, I'm going to do that. Because he obviously hasn't won a game this series himself. He has to do that as a superstar. He can do that. So they obviously need him. Will it be game 3? Will it be game 4? Yeah, that one looks serious.
Yeah. Big burning questions across a lot of series are like, is Ja Morant going to play? Is Giannis going to play? Is Kawhi going to play in Game 4, as we already talked about? Some of these superstars. Do you have anything else as a burning question for this weekend?
I was burning. That was the burning one for me, yeah.
You're excited about that one. How about this one? Will Karl Anthony Towns show up to the playoffs?
That's a good Bernie.
He's been brutal through these first 2 games. He has 21 points total in the 2 games against Denver.
That's not a lot.
9 turnovers to 8 made field goals. He's shooting 3 of 12 from deep, where he's definitely settling a little bit. And he's racked up 7 fouls. There's that, too. So for them to have any chance, they're not going to win the series, but they could take a game 3 and make things a little interesting. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but he needs to play so much better. And I would even add, Towns having a good game would be nice here. Maybe Trae Young, too. These are 2 guys that are going to be involved in a whole lot of trade rumors, and already have been. Trae had a better game 2 in the loss to the Celtics, but still turning the ball over too much. Cannot have a game where he just sort of gets unleashed from 3. He just continues to put up he shoots 25% from three. He's like on a hell of a run here where he just can't have a really good game from deep. So it'd be nice for the Hawks fans to see him have a monster game where he takes over and gets them possibly a victory. So that's going to be very tough against the Celtics team.
I do think the Wolves found something out with Karl-Anthony Towns more on the perimeter. And that's where he was a monster in the playing games. He was amazing in the playing games.
He just has to hit shots.
Yeah, and he found his flow. So I think that's where the Wolves found their flow, is Rudy, Rowland, Towns nowhere near the paint. But he was good again, shooting the three ball. So that's different.
You have a lot more faith in the Wolves being able to win a game this weekend than maybe the Hawks. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I have faith that the Wolves are taking one. But I ain't selling on the Hawks quite yet. No, they're not winning the series, but
I mean just win.
I guess I'm just looking at the template from last year. They won Game 3 against the Heat after looking bad, so why not win a game?
Are you going to be in the arena, standing room only?
No,
ticks?
you?
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to get killed.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's the problem.
I saw them just play in Boston in Game 2, and I couldn't believe what I was watching.
You've already done it.
It was like the Celtics were scoring a layup every time or a three-pointer. Every time. There was just you have Trae Young and then Bogdanovich, who you sort of got to play for shooting reasons. They're just turnstiles. They just go around them.
I think are the Celtics 5-0 so far against the Hawks this year? They smashed the Hawks when I saw them play here.
Yeah.
Talked to Steve.
Yeah, they are.
He loves the idea of Steve room only pricing. Hates the idea of standing for 3 hours straight, though.
This is your mother,
yeah, so respect to that. Might have to go seat room only for this game, but I don't know that I want to spend a whole bunch of money seeing the last game of the season.
I know.
So we'll see what happens on Sunday.
It is the spicy game, though.
It is
Those
the
game
spicy
threes
game.
where you're down 2-0, you're finally playing in front of your fans, and it's like your season is just completely on the line. The Nets was a perfect example. Fun game to go watch last night. I mean, they ultimately lose, but they gave it their all. There was a lot of fireworks in it, but hopefully we get that here in Atlanta tonight and later in Minnesota. Most anticipated game of the 11 on the docket. Which one of you got circled? I know you'll be watching them all because you're a sicko, but where are you going?
I've circled a few games upon my calendar, but I am excited for Cavs' next Game 3 tonight in Madison Square Garden. Should be an exciting one. Looking forward to seeing what the Cavs role guys do on the road. They got a great performance from Karis LeVert in Game 2. Danny Green showed up. He hit a few threes. Looks like a playable player. We'll see how that translates to being on the road. And from the Knicks' point of view, we'll see what their adjustment is with Jalen Brunson being trapped, because I thought that kind of really threw them out of whack offensively. Took them a lot longer to get into their sets. Obviously, Brunson wasn't as effective as he was in Game 1. There's got to be some kind of an adjustment, though I will say Tom Thibodeau, not the most creative offensive mind at all times. Sometimes it's just, hey, you're the point guard, do some sweet moves, and we'll see how you score. So there's got to be a little bit something more than that. Figuring out how to get Brunson going, and it'd be nice to see Quickly have a nice game. He hasn't really had much of an impact so far in this series, and that's a guy that I thought was going to be balling up.
That Game 3, I think, is on ABC tonight. The Friday night nationally televised game.
Friday night at the Garden.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that gets priority over Boston, Atlanta, and Denver, Minnesota that the league has been trying to hide a little bit throughout the first week.
A little bit, yeah.
So, yeah, Cleveland, Minnesota, can't wait. Every year it feels like somebody sings the lyrics from Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor. This one, the bodies have been hitting the floor, and I just want to see if the Knicks can battle through. There was a lot of bumps taken in Game 2. So many of their guys. Jalen Brunson getting romped many times. Julius Randle is hurt. We'll see how they can keep battling against this monstrous Cavs team. And I'm just excited to hopefully see both teams play a good game at the same time, because that hasn't happened through two games. Let's do this. Let's do this. And then, Clips, Suns. I mean, this feels like a great series because all three games have been really, really good. No one's backing down. And 3:30 Saturday, I guess Kawhi could have been sat for Game 4. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I expect him to come back. Who knows? Also, who knows?
You have no idea,
who
man.
knows?
Who knows?
One bold prediction for this weekend. Go wherever you want. Tass, why don't you get us started?
One bold prediction.
What are we gonna be
Dylan
talking
Brooks
about
and LeBron James are going to tussle. Let's just say they're going to tussle. They're going to hold each other's bods and hit the floor. Wow, that's bold.
Okay.
Dylan Brooks, I mean, at some point, I know LeBron keeps it cool.
Yeah.
He's had his ear blown. He's seen it all. He's seen it all. But at some point, Dylan will get right in his armpits and they'll hit the floor together. Wow. I don't think LeBron's gonna do a lot of throwing. Yeah, like he's gonna get so tight into LeBron's body that LeBron will have no choice but to like at least try and squiggle out of it, and then they'll hit the floor. That's all. So it's not going to be much of a tussle, but that's going to be the headline.
Like a wrap up that sort of spills to the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Between Brooks and LeBron.
It's
that would be quite rattled for LeBron. No doubt.
I don't. Again, what he's going to be doing is trying to get away from Brooks, but you can't. That guy is squirmy.
Will we have another nut shot controversy from one of these games? Is that your bold prediction?
That was my bold prediction.
Sorry.
We're getting another kick.
Probably.
I think it's going to be in Clippers versus Suns. Chris Paul and Bones Highland. They've had a couple of little just run-ins. And Bones is just a little extra. In general, he'll take a crazy shot. He will get in anybody's face. So yeah, there seems to be something simmering there. And this is the playoffs of nut kicks. So I just assume things like this come in threes. We've seen 2 of them so far. Kick-wise.
Yeah.
It's probably going to happen. And we'll be talking about it on Monday. Oh my God. Can you believe that he only got a flagrant 1 for that? Or it was a flagrant 2. Or he got suspended. Or he should have been. And it just sort of continues. Because what happens is like it's always compared to the one that just happened prior. And then it's one prior to that. And that's the playoffs. All right, bold predictions. Let's hear from everybody out there. Drop them in the stream team right now. If you're listening later, you got time to tweet them in at No Dunks Inc. Get creative with your bold predictions from any of these 11 games. We might have a playback or 2 in us at some point this weekend. Maybe even tonight. A Friday night playback. Only for the true NBA sickos out there. We'll take our final break. When we come back, rapid fire.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes we don't know why we react the way we do, and we would like to react differently. Therapy is about understanding why we act the way we do. And for men, talking about our issues can be discouraged at times. For example, a fan yelled at Russell Westbrook to take it like a man during Game 1 of the playoffs. We have these constructed ideas of how we should respond to life, ideas that they don't actually help us in our lives. I'm trying to sound like an expert. I am not. In fact, I needed a better coping method this past weekend. I can use some therapy, and I do seek it out from time to time to help get out of my head, step outside myself a little bit, but I tend to seek it out when I perceive a problem. It's like going to get a massage when you're sore instead of addressing it all the time. I wish I did it more regularly than just when I need it. John Morant, for instance, he had a meditation session after Game 1 versus the Lakers. It helps. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/NoDunks today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/NoDunks.
Oh, yeah, the Photoshop boys are at work. Jerome whipping together this slick edit. Shams in his new Twitter profile pic. Got that sexy leather jacket. Look at Beads and Shams cruising along there. Grease lightning.
We go together like shamalama.
So good.
Shams' hair ain't moving despite the wind. No question.
Oh, fantastic. Fun prediction here in the stream team from Ishmael San Diego. Somebody scoring 50 this weekend. I like that. Yeah. I like that prediction. You could see that. What is the highest at this point? Is it Booker's 45? Has anybody got over that? No, that sounds right.
Yeah,
so 50. Also saw somebody on Twitter asking us, like, is somebody with the way people score, like, going to beat Michael Jordan's playoff record here? Like, in the coming weeks? I'm like, Jesus. Definitely could be possible with who we got there. So good stuff. Keep your predictions coming for the second weekend of the playoffs. Okay, guys, let's start wrapping this up. We got to stock up on energy for all these games. We'll end with some rapid fire fun.
Here, let me jump in quick. I think Tim Bontemps deleted that tweet.
What tweet?
Your favorite tweet that led to your conspiracy theory about the award winners. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I didn't even know he had retweeted me.
The Bontemps link is real.
No, I mean, I thought. Oh, where did he reveal his on this podcast?
No,
On the
it was an ESPN article
I thought he tweeted
that I noted on our podcast on that Saturday where I did the solo podcast.
I thought he tweeted it.
Well, I tweeted, did Tim, like in sharing the show, did Tim Bontemps ruin the award winners?
Yeah.
Maybe he had retweeted that. I don't know.
Nah.
No, okay.
Okay, yeah, forget it.
Very cool. All right, rapid fire.
How do you not tweet that?
Who?
Tim the tweeter.
How did he not tweet it?
Yeah. His own.
Well, you don't
his
think,
own.
I mean, I made it up.
No, his own. The award finalists.
Oh.
He's a newsman.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Okay, this is rapid fire. Jeez. First one. Tass will get us started. According to some fun reporting by Tim McMahon,
Oh, Bam McMahon.
not Timmy Bontemps, Tim McMahon, and his ESPN coworkers, there was a bunch of them working on this story, Grizzlies guard Desmond Bane has a medical reason to violate an unwritten NBA rule, and that is wearing LeBron's shoes while playing against LeBron and the Lakers. That is what Desmond Bane is doing. Here's Bane. Asked about it, said, quote, "I gotta leave my pride to the side and do what's best for my body and my career."
Pride
So I
to
guess
the
these
side.
these LeBrons, these particular LeBrons
It's a
that he
good
wear,
shoe.
yeah, what are they?
20.
The 20s, yeah. They help him. He's medically cleared to play in them. He's got to wear them, even though it's weird. You're going against the guy. He says, "I don't care. I got to put my pride aside." So the question is, tell us about a time you swallowed your pride, Tass Mellis.
Well, I guess this is sort of an antithesis to what our man Bane is doing, because I didn't go run a half marathon, not because of my body, but because I didn't train. And even though I signed up for months in advance, paid for the thing, I didn't go and show up for my run. It was too cold, number one. No, it's more because I didn't train. And so I had to swallow it.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to do it. That's why I signed up, but
Just
had
didn't
to
feel like
suck
you were
it
ready.
up.
Yeah,
well, I
because of
was
the
not
training.
ready. And I didn't have a pair of LeBrons to run in either. So that hurt.
Okay. What about you, TK?
Happened last night for me, actually. I tried to go to Taco Bell because I read the story in the New Yorker about the Taco Bell Innovation Kitchen. I was like, I got to go pay tribute. I got to get me a Crunchwrap Supreme, a feat of engineering. But the line was much too long.
Oh.
Whoa.
I was like, all right, I can wait 6 minutes. Got in line, didn't move at all. It was probably going to take 45 minutes.
Too long.
Then I realized, hey, it's 4:20. This makes sense. This makes sense why there's a long line.
I was wondering if everybody was reading that article or something. But yeah, 420
maybe.
makes way more sense.
Yeah, it was like at 9:30 at night. I was like, okay, understandable. So I just went to Wings Mania instead.
It's probably good.
That was awesome. Yeah. They got some of the best wings in the Decatur area.
Did this feat of engineering article contemplate putting all the ingredients that they have together and making a fry supreme like they do in Canada? Because they have all the ingredients, but they don't have a fry supreme.
It's crazy to me that they don't do that. It must be a market thing. I mean, they talk about the failed products, of course.
Yeah.
The Crunchwrap. It was invented 13 years before it came out. But the woman who created it just couldn't convince people to give it a chance.
Wow.
And now it's the biggest hit out there. I never ordered the thing, and I was ready for it yesterday. Maybe today. 421.
It'll be less busy, I guarantee you,
Yep.
at Taco Bell today. All right, JD, tell us about a time you swallowed your pride.
Yeah, I was playing in a pickleball league with Rachel, my wife. She fired me essentially because I suck. So I've swallowed my pride, and this week I've started playing. I went to an emerging beginners clinic. So I'm back to basics. I'm learning the game because I stink. I just stink at it, and she is far and away. She has a duper rating. She's almost a 4 duper rating. That's huge.
Already?
What does that mean? I mean,
I don't know. It's,
Okay.
you play.
like, what's it out of? 4 out of what?
I think it's out of 10.
Okay.
The pros are usually 7, between
Oh.
7 and 8. So she's at a 4.
Jesus.
For playing since September. So, yeah. So I'm back to I stink. That's it. So I swallowed my pride, go back to a beginner clinic.
Will your goal be then to obviously learn the skills, work your way up the ranks, get that duper rating up,
Yeah.
and then team up with your wife or battle your wife?
Battle first, then team up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Break her down first.
Just gotta light her up, you know?
Gotcha.
She's created a monster because you really didn't want to go to that clinic.
I didn't.
We heard her come in here and basically tell you were going,
Yeah,
that you were
I was
dragging your ass there. It didn't seem like you wanted to go.
Well, we did no bunts that day.
Yeah.
Then we did no dunks, and I did Is This Good with Matty O. I'm tired.
Yeah.
On a podcast.
You know what? I had a blast, though, so I'm glad she made me
Good.
go. But she did. She was like, you're going. And walked out of the room.
Skills up.
Next one here. Derek White is washed when it comes to fashion. On the floor, he's killing it. He's averaging 25-6, 4.5 assists, 2.5 blocks through the first 2 games of his series against Atlanta. But White says the washed, W-A-S-H-E-D, on his sweatshirt, it stands for We Are Superheroes Every Day, and is dedicated to all the dads out there. Shout out to you dads, you washed dads.
This is for every dad out there.
Yeah. So my question off of this, and we're showing you Derek White's sweater here on YouTube.
Sweater.
What dad-related acronym would you like to see on some No Dunks merch?
Well, I wouldn't make a cream sweater like my man Derek White.
don't like
This is going to get dirty.
Oh, for dads.
I'm very worried about a white sweater. I think they look cool.
Oh, I think it
But I'm
looks
like,
great.
I'm going to spill on this guaranteed.
That looks
I'm going
awesome.
to Taco Bell at 9:30 at night. What do you think's going to happen?
I'm going with ABS. Always be snacking. Because I don't need to eat a meals because my kids don't finish theirs. I just eat it all.
Smart.
Always be
Trickle-down
snacking.
food.
Yeah, trickle down food. They eat Nutella. That's awesome. Nutella's
Yeah.
so good. I wouldn't ever choose it as an adult, but since the kids are, bam, done. It's the playoffs. So I'm always snacking anyways. Just in front of the television. NMN, no meals needed.
That's Nick Nurse's new hat. Okay, Trey, what do you got?
Dudes!
Dudes.
All
Okay.
right.
It's okay.
Dads United doing everyday stuff.
Damn, that's really good. That's probably a shirt already. I gotta check that.
We're launching an Instagram, and it's just dads doing the most boring things. Taking out the trash,
Yeah, good one.
picking up the mail, making a school lunch, replace an electrical outlet, pour a cup of coffee, just everyday stuff that dads do.
Dads being dudes.
Dads
What's
being
better
dudes.
than this?
Did you put the electrical outlet on Instagram? Because I need to copy you. I need to do it.
I need to replace an electrical outlet too.
I got a couple dads over here.
So who's
Couple
going to put it up
dudes.
on the Instagram page first?
All right, I like that one. Dudes. What do you got, JD?
The other day, Tassie sheepishly admitted to me that he does play kids' music for his kids. He doesn't let them listen to it. It's not that you don't let them, but you don't play.
Yeah, generally. Did you hear that chicken wing song on
Yeah,
yesterday's show?
You're, sorry, you're saying that the music played is generally kids' music or kids' versions of songs, not the actual
Exactly.
song.
Kids
Okay.
Bop, that kind
Gotcha,
of thing.
gotcha.
Baby Shark, the chicken wing song.
boy.
I got you,
that kind of thing. And I'm very against it.
Right.
But I'm in the small minority of just bad dads who don't like it. So my acronyms is Dad's intolerant of children's kitschy songs, also dicks.
Wow, with a little baby crossed
A
out.
little baby with headphones with it crossed out.
Oh, those are yes, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Those are just ears. Huh?
So there's enough music in the world. We don't need a kids bop version
Right.
of Taylor Swift songs. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. No, you're right, and you're not a dick. Although the acronym is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I'm doing my kids a disservice by.
It's not your
Giving
kids. It's for your kids. You're a great dad. That's the thing. Like
Nah,
you're,
I'm not.
you're doing it for them.
You're playing real music.
right.
And
Yeah,
I'm playing.
You're playing the
shit
original
music.
Beatles version of Chicken Wing Chicken.
that's right. That's right.
That was a Ringo song. They just put one on every record for some reason.
All right, great answers. I am happy we went with that question. Finally here, it's got nothing to do with basketball, but it's a fun one. Earlier this week, Netflix announced that it was ending its DVD by mail business and would ship its final DVDs to customers later this fall, September 29th to be exact. According to the Times, got some fun facts here for you. Beetlejuice was the first DVD shipped by the company.
Wow.
And I'm talking about Netflix, like, sending out DVDs in the mail in those red envelopes.
Beetlejuice.
This has been going on for a long time. Yeah, Beetlejuice, first one in March of 98.
Okay.
And the most frequently requested film by this DVD by mail business, The Blind Side,
Wow.
starring Sandra Bullock. Yep.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
I've seen it.
Did she win?
She may have won Best Actress.
an Oscar?
Really?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's definitely
The
nominated.
nominated
one for sure that year.
So The Blind Side, I guess, is maybe I guess you log in and request it. You gotta wait for the DVDs to come back in the mail. Anyway, my question off of this: what is the weirdest movie you own on DVD? Because we all have them.
Oh, we do.
What's the weirdest one?
I'm going curveball. I've got a bunch, but my weirdest in my collection, because I do still have them in a cupboard somewhere,
Yep.
and they're sort of visible. So this is more of a visual one because the sleeve is so much thinner. Is your guys' college practicum?
The floor.
Yeah.
The floor, yeah. Yeah, and because it's such a slim one, it really stands out. I mean, I have my own as well. But yeah, here we go.
JD's searching for
JD's
it.
got it. That was a quick find. There it is.
There
right
it is.
Hold on.
It's a DVD.
There it
The
is.
floor,
The floor.
Nice.
which was our final project.
The
in university.
practicum, they called it.
Yeah, and the question was, what's the weirdest movie you own on DVD? Not quite a movie, but it's frickin' weird, so it fits the bill.
That is true. It's a pilot of a
It's a great
series
one.
that we never obviously produced. Turned out it was just a pretty blatant knockoff of The Office.
Yeah.
Set in on the floor of a college university.
You get
The res.
any notes back from the studio after the pilot?
They wanted more Mellis in it. Mellis was like a bit actor in it, but he got sick on set. We got this guy sick from food
Everyone
poisoning.
was sick.
Yeah. Whoops.
What, you can fed him a peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah,
Night before, is
That
blowing
wasn't
out his
that
guts?
wasn't my department. That wasn't JD's department. I'll tell you that.
Nope.
that was rotten egg salad.
Oh,
Ugh, it was. I
is that what did it? Yeah.
think so.
What kind of maniac would serve egg salad on a student production?
Insane. In the middle of winter.
It was like 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, The Floor. Wow,
one.
everybody's got one or two of those copies. I'll tell you that.
I've got multiple copies. I didn't meet you guys for like 10 years after.
We sold like 8 of them and then 100 or so to give out. We really should do a playback watch party on the floor, though.
Well, yeah, there's a legit star on the floor, Melanie Scrofano.
Hell yeah.
She's a legit actor out there. So
The main guy ever become anything?
yeah, he owns Comedy Bar.
Yeah,
in
Gary
Toronto.
Rideout Jr.
Yeah.
Serious. It's actually, dare I say, it's not atrocious.
It's not for a student production. It's not bad.
Yeah. Anyway, TK, besides The Floor, what is the weirdest movie you own on DVD?
I only could locate one of my boxes of DVDs downstairs, so I was disappointed to learn that 3 of my favorites weren't there. Boiler Room, no.
Oh no.
Freddy Got Fingered, no.
No.
Dude, where's my car? Dude, where's my movie? I couldn't find
Jeez.
it. But
Okay, you got some.
find 2 weird ones.
Okay, here we go.
Straight up, what I forgot I had, the Tenacious D Complete Masterworks on DVD.
That would be weird.
With Jack Black back in our lives, dominating as Bowser, this might be worth a watch.
I'd watch
I've
that.
never seen
Yeah.
this cover of this.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of stuff on here.
Incredible.
You can't see that, but we're talking all the episodes, a whole big long line of productions and stuff, so that's probably cool. But man, I haven't put that in since college. But the one that confused me the most, that I have no recollection of ever getting, a dead stock, unopened Miami Heat 2012 NBA Champions DVD.
Wow. Don't unwrap it, yeah.
I'm not a Heat fan. Definitely not in 2012. But a pristine copy
Did
here.
these come from The Score?
How in the world did I get this?
I think they did. Just you holding that up, I had a weird
Probably.
flashback of like a bunch of random DVDs at The Score that found their way to
Yeah,
our
weird
office or
stuff.
something. Yeah.
There's 2 discs in there too, Trey.
Oh, a free Blu-ray.
That was probably the
One
forefront of
regular and one Blu-ray.
What is it, Swordfish? I love that you knew where they were, though, because everybody does have a weird box of DVDs,
Like, I got
or
one
they're
box.
in, like, one weird little shelf. JD, what's the weirdest DVD you own?
I have 2. One is Nobody Has This. This is a show I worked on. I was a music editor on Johnny Test season 3 and 4.
Okay. Cartoon?
Just- yeah, there's nobody out there owns this at all.
Oh, come on. That was an award winner.
Was it? I don't think it was.
Which other one did you work on that was an award winner?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
They have all. If you're talking about Canadian awards, they've won.
Yeah,
all of them, but-
it's an award just to make a Canadian production.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. But the weirdest thing I have, and it's probably the coolest thing I have actually, is the Muppet Show season 3.
Oh, nice.
This is a weird show. Like
Yeah.
if you watch back, like the stuff they do on it is incredible. But
I watched it definitely at the time when it was on TV,
yeah,
like live, and it is weird.
it's very strange.
Did it not make a comeback? Like, did they not?
Oh, it's
start
come
redoing?
back several times.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Did like a Jason Segel version or something like that?
He was in a movie.
Oh, he was in a
yeah.
movie. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, the Muppets just very influential in my life.
Favorite Muppet?
That's a great question. Probably Kermit. Kermit and Miss Piggy. I love Miss Piggy.
You love that dynamic?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
stuff,
It's so like weird and sexual, you know? It's just very strange.
Yep.
All right, let's call it there. Fun, weird ending to that one. Rapid fire, not so rapid, never is. Who cares? It's a classic. Hopefully, if you're a podcast listener, leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. 5-star Friday fun, right around the corner. April's like
2 weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
we got like 10 days left in April.
Get your reviews in.
Get your reviews in. We'll do that in early May on a Drop podcast. Subscribe to No Dunks here on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Numbers have been ticking up. We love to see it. Share the show with your friends. And yeah, keep an eye on our Twitter account, even though we're not verified anymore. Or are you? Or are we? I don't know. People are saying it's like hidden. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Very confusing. Anyway, at No Dunks Inc., INC on the end. I say to follow it because you never know when we're going to go live with a little playback watch for some of these playoff games over the weekend, both here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So follow us there and across all social media channels, including Instagram and TikTok. Guys, that was a blast. Thanks for joining us. We will see you when we see you next. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Johnny Test won a Gemini.
Oh, Gemini.
What's a
Emmys.
Gemini?
It's the Emmys of Canadian.
Yeah, baby.
They don't call it the Jemmies?
They should, but they don't.
Gemini. That was like a Mega Man character, too. Gemini.
I don't think that exists anymore as an award. It's a Canadian screen. They've put them all together. Movies, TV, web. Can't believe we've never won one. It's crazy.
We weren't even nominated for a Webby this year. Congrats to Draymond Green. Embrace the weekend, people.